Okay, so hello guys. Today I thought I'd just be talking about a little project I had on the side. I did this with a friend, and it's called Galicinia. Now, Galicinia was a project I did with my friend, and it's actually a Nation RP project because I mean, why not? But it was actually to see how some of these, made up nations would interact in a small space or continent, which is what I have here. And so, yeah, so we just started off in the, kind of medieval era type stuff and went from there. So I put down 5 nations to start out with: Niguara, Lithuania, I had Intrigio, I had Niniguara, I had Linitia, I had Sunhera, and I had Botinian. And so these were just 5 nations I put down. Now there were just some landmarks, and then there was a sea around it. So this started in the kind of medieval era. So what happened was this. So everyone started out, and battles were, decided through basic dice rolling websites. So everyone started out, and I just saw how it happened. I wanted to see how they would interact in this small continent area, because I thought that was very interesting, and I still think it's very interesting. Also, if any of you want to join something like this, I thought comment, sub, and I might actually be doing some of this with the chat, see how that goes. I mean, that would be kind of cool. But so yeah, to start out with, I was Niniguara, and my friend was the Sunhera. So we started out, and it was just medieval era. So me being the Niniguara, I just kind of conquered stuff, and everyone else. So I chose the Niniguara nation to be more of a kind of Christian type of religion nation. So it would have one god, and then that would be just the god, and it would have some rules that you should follow. Now my friend chose to have a kind of Egyptian polytheism, and that was kind of cool. And then we both decided the Entriago should have kind of a Korean, kind of vibe to it, because it was on a peninsula that looked kind of like Korea, I guess. That's our reasoning for it. The Botinian were just basically some, forest people. They were kind of like a tribal religion, I want to say, but not really. And finally, the Lativia were just a kind of, northern tribe. They didn't really they were kind of the atheists of the group, and they were more technologically focused, I guess you could say. So, I mean, it would just go on like how you did. It lasted a couple hours. And so, me being the Nigerian, I just conquered, and everyone else started conquering. So then we just did that. And that was kind of, the first age, or, kind of era type thing, the medieval era. And I just kind of conquered. I grew an army and stuff. And that was kind of just about it. That's all you do there. You don't really meet anyone unless it's like a really big map and there's a lot of people playing. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun doing that era, and it was just kind of a bit of just expansion and stuff and building up. And so yeah, so then we moved to and so at the end of the era, that was basically it. The Levidian or whatever had a lot of control over the northern forest lands. The Sunhera controlled almost all of the desert. The Botswanian basically controlled just a bit of the coastal provinces and some along the river, some of the fertile land. And the Antriago controlled a very considerable amount along a river and along coastlines of the peninsula. And that was about it. And so then we moved into the next era. The next era was, I think, I called it kind of same middle, kind of ages type vibe and stuff. But yeah, so it was still kind of Middle Ages, but it was now kind of late Middle Ages. So in this era, we saw the expansion of the Botswanian or Benician. I'm going to say this wrong a lot. The Benician. We saw the expansion of the Benicians extremely fast. They went from having about 5 provinces to having 8 in just a couple of decades. And the Levitian had almost a complete domination over the entire northlands of their side of the continent. Me being the Niguarians, again, just kind of let it go and just kind of, just kind of chilled out there and just built up the country. And my friend, the Sunhera, was kind of cut off between the Botswanian and the Levitians. because they were in a kind of big peninsula area. So, at the end of the era, the Lividia, Botswana, Entrego, Sonhera, and Niguara were all kind of in diplomatic relationships with each other now, and they all had met each other and everything. So that was basically it. That was the big thing of the era. Everyone met each other, and everyone was kind of engaging in diplomacy. So then we get to the next era. To start the era off, the Lividians go into an all-out civil war. So the Lividians are actually a dictatorship, which isn't really too important, I guess. I guess we just decided they should be a dictatorship. I mean, why not? So then we had a kind of liberal society, kind of revolution from them in the east side of the country, and that kind of happened, I guess. And that was pretty fun. And that kind of happened. They had a revolution of the liberal, and started off. They had a liberal revolution in the east side of their country, and that was kind of just a fun fact. Me being the Niguarians, I actually expanded a lot during this era because I had a lot of the infrastructure to do so, and I actually took over the marshes of the start of the river to kind of control trade down that said river, which made up a lot of the Entriago and some of the Botswana, and the Sonhera kind of just laid there until the end of the era. They built up like I did at the start. But yeah, and they all had their own natural resources to trade, and it was actually really fun. The Entrego continued to expand along the river. They actually cut off the Botswanian, and I kind of took up a lot more of the land until there was no more land left, until all the land on the continent was claimed. So then we move into the next era. I call this the era of warfare, because all that happened during this era was a lot of warfare. So what happened was, first thing that happened, the Sonhera was almost gone. They were just, So what happened to start this off is the Sonhera conquest. It was between Botswana and Lividia. They both saw their chance, and they started the conquest of... Nope, never mind. So the first war we saw was actually between the Botswanian and the Entrego, because they were kind of, I guess, had a border dispute or something. We both weren't playing them, but we were just kind of seeing how they went. And I guess they both kind of had a border dispute, and they went to war over it. The ultimate winner of this conflict was the Entrego, and they took over some of the Botswanians' land. And also the Sonhera grew and took over the rest of Lividia after the freedom fighters, or the Free Northernlands, weakened them enough for them to go in and strike. So now the Sonhera was actually pretty strong, and me being the Niguaria actually saw this, and I said to my friend, hey, let's work together to take out these people. And he said, and so the Entrego actually, they had pretty technological. And so, yeah. So the first war was between Entrego and the Botswana, and they kind of, decimated them because they had a lot more buildings and infrastructure, although the Botswanians at one point almost reached their capital. Although at one point the Botswanians actually sacked their capital and their royal family, which was kind of cool. I actually liked, and sacked their capital. Even so, they continued to fight back and resist. So the next war we saw was actually between the Niguaria and the Free Northernlands against the Entrego because of their conflicting beliefs. The Free Northernlands actually turned into a Christian regime because I actually supported them during the War of Independence, and we both invaded them. Now, they kind of had some resistance, but they didn't have much, and they quickly fell. And after we won the war, we kind of just divided the land between us and along the rivers, and that was about the end of that war. The next war that happened was actually between the Botswanians and on one side, and the Free Northernlands and the Niguara on the other side. And I actually lost that war with the Free Northernlands because they sacked the Free Northernlands capital, took some of their land, and then came after my army, and we sustained too many losses to continue. And the last big war or event that happened during that time period was the fact that the Sonhera actually collapsed under the Free Northernlands and the Botswana. So that was about it for the Age of Conquest. Now we come into the last stage, the two nations, as I like to call it, because only two nations were left after this. So to start off this new era, I actually sent out and put in another little island to the east, as some explorers from my country actually discovered them. But anyone could claim them because the knowledge was spread fast. But that was just the starting event. I just wanted to see what would happen, and I actually ended up controlling the entire island chain, because why not? But what also happened was the big war. So as the era ended, the Botswinian and the Free Northernlands and me were the only ones left, with the Botswinian having traded some of their land to the Free Northernlands for the most of the Sunhara. And so what happened was the Botswinians kind of fought a war against the Free Northernlands, and the Free Northernlands kind of fought a guerrilla war against them, which eventually ended in disaster for the Free Northernlands, with their complete collapse. All I did during this era was kind of take some land from the Free Northernlands, just a bit though, and took the island chain, and that was it. So so that was about it, and I did all this in MS Paint because why not? And it was actually very, very fun, and I think I might do another video if this gets enough support about the next couple of ages, because I'm thinking of making an entire another continent for everyone to go and explore. And also, if you do want to kind of join something like this, just hit that like button and sub, and maybe I'll make a Discord server, although I doubt this video will get many views. I hope it does, but who knows. So yeah, that was just about it. It wasn't too interesting, but I thought it was really fun, and so maybe some of you will enjoy it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and maybe you'll come and join another one of these. I might stream it.